Okay, let's check in with Cameron McIntosh in Winnipeg. And Cam, tell us more about what's happening in your province.
Well, Ian, this has really changed very dramatically in the last 90 minutes or so. Earlier today, the Premier came out and basically talked about the need for a state of preparedness in the community of the northern city of Flin Flon and some other neighboring communities, telling people to be ready to go on a day or two's notice. Now that is a full-on evacuation order for Flin Flon, so that's about 5,000 people. That video you showed at the top of the show, that of those firefighters running away from that fire in northern Saskatchewan, well, that's right on the border. That's Crichton, Saskatchewan, which borders Flin Flon. So that's basically the same fire that we're talking about here. A fire that started off basically in the landfill on the Saskatchewan side that has moved over now, threatening the Manitoba side. The Premier saying earlier today that water bombers tried to knock it out yesterday, but couldn't because there was a civilian drone flying in the area. Very upset about that. Basically says that has exasperated this entire situation. So that's one front of it. All those people in the Flin Flon area now being told to make their way to Winnipeg. Then a little further into Manitoba, more central northern Manitoba, there's Cross Lake and Pimicikamak, one of the largest First Nations communities here in Manitoba. Basically, they've told everyone to get out as well. So in total, it's about 17,000 people. The Premier saying that this is going to be one of the largest evacuations in modern Manitoba history. He's contacted the Prime Minister, who has pledged federal resources, including the Royal Canadian Air Force. Now, the 435 Transport and Rescue Wing is based here in Winnipeg. It has a fleet of Hercules aircrafts. We're expecting to see those planes, if they don't start flying tonight, they'll definitely be flying in the morning to do these airlifts. Here now is more from the Premier of Manitoba, Wab Kinew.
Local leaders in several northern communities, both in cities like Flin Flon, but also in First Nations, have made the call that their folks need to leave their homes so that we can keep you safe. And as a result, in order to step up and to be that coordinating force so that people can get out safely, we've called on the federal government to send the Canadian Armed Forces. They are doing so. And we as the province are going to set up places for everyone to stay.
And that's all being done through a provincial state of emergency. So that state of emergency, Ian, it allows the province to call on the resources of the federal government, like the Canadian Armed Forces, but it also allows the province to go into a community like Winnipeg here and use our convention center or an indoor soccer field or an indoor hockey rink and basically take them over and set up shelters. That's what the Premier says is going to happen over the course of the next few days. The priority, getting those people out of those communities as quickly as possible here into southern Manitoba, predominantly the Winnipeg area.
I'm going to come back and ask you about that in just a moment, Cam, but let me first direct you towards the evacuation orders in northern Saskatchewan and Alberta. What can you tell us about those?
So, fires breaking out in both those provinces as well. Focus on the main one in Saskatchewan. There's a great big fire north of Prince Albert. It's at 200,000 hectares alone. Basically, two fires merged. Now, 200,000 hectares is about as much as has burned here in Manitoba already this year. Basically, it's caused a lot of damage. It's forced the evacuation of thousands of people from several communities and work sites. We do know that there have been buildings lost and that situation is being monitored very closely as other fires also break out and threaten other portions of Saskatchewan. As for Alberta, about 20 wildfires right now. Much of that province is under heat warnings, so conditions that are very amenable to fires breaking out. We know that Swan Hill is about 225 kilometers north of Edmonton. That's about 1,200 people. They've been ordered out of their homes. There are also evacuation notices in the Lake Chipewyan area, people basically being told to be ready to go on 1 hour's notice.
All right, and before I let you go, Cam, let's just review the evacuation orders for your province, Manitoba. People of Flin Flon, so I understand that's about 5,000 people living in that community. They have been given clear directions on where to go. Tell us about that.
Yeah, basically they're being told to be out by midnight tonight. The Premier has said, make your way to Winnipeg. So there are a couple ways to do that. One is to go straight south through Brandon and then cut across down the Trans-Canada Highway. There's also a route that takes Manitoba Highway number 6. It's not as great a highway. It's probably going to have a lot of traffic from other people in other northern communities trying to get down here. So basically people are being told to make their way to Winnipeg. The province will sort it out from there. Basically, as shelters are being set up, people can get registered here and then they can basically be assigned to a shelter once it's up and ready. So we're going to see a lot of action here in Manitoba over the course of the next 24 hours, particularly tomorrow morning when we start seeing evacuees start really coming into the community.
Yeah, well, a big enough city, of course, and Premier Kinew mentioned this. Winnipeg is a big enough city that it should be able to, it's going to not be easy, but should be able to absorb all those people coming down. So that's Flin Flon. And the final thing is, for the First Nations communities in that area, the directions about the evacuation were a little bit different.
Yeah, the First Nations can be a little bit trickier because, basically the air infrastructure and the road infrastructure is different. So Pukwitawagamis, Cologne First Nation, it's fly-in this time of year. So the armed forces is going to have to go in there and get people. So that's one of the places you'll probably see the Hercules aircraft operating. Also into Pimichikamak and Cross Lake. They're basically two communities side by side to each other. There is infrastructure there to land large airplanes. It may be easier for most people though to drive out. Either way, they're being told out if they can get themselves out to get out by midnight tonight. So again, you're going to be seeing a lot of people making their way towards Winnipeg here over the course of the next 24 hours, Ian.
Yeah, an urgent situation, as you pointed out right at the beginning, a situation that changed really quickly. But I think it's telling that the evacuation order is, be gone by midnight, so just under 6 hours away. So it gives you a sense that they're hoping for an orderly and certainly not panicked departure from places like Flin Flon. Cam, fantastic job. We're going to stay on the story over the next couple hours while we're live here. Thank you very much for checking in with us.
Pleasure.
Okay, our next guest is one of the people who's been forced to evacuate her home in Flin Flon with her family and her 3 pets. Elsaida Alerta joins us now from the road. Elsaida, how are you feeling right now?
Well, definitely stressed, but, we're just going to make our way and hope for the best.
Where are you right now?
Right now, we are still currently in Flin Flon. We are just trying to get my mother-in-law out of here as well. So just trying to make sure every one of our family is ready to go.
Yeah. So, as I was just saying to Cam McIntosh, my colleague, if there's a good thing here, it's that this alert went out with enough time that it's not like just get on the highway and go right now. You do have some time to gather things together. But, I'm one of the many Canadians who's never had to evacuate their home, with a fire getting closer to my community. How do you even begin to do that?
I don't know. I'm also new to this as well. Like, I've never done this before. I've lived here for 3 years. Last year, we did have a potential evacuation, but never proceeded. Especially for somebody that lived in Winnipeg, in a big city that never had to evacuate like this, it's definitely nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and so did you kind of walk briskly around the house and quickly fill up a couple of duffel bags, or did you have a suitcase ready to go? Just tell me about that process.
Yeah, so when we got the pre-evacuation notice, we definitely packed our bags last night. It was definitely hard to sleep because, we weren't sure if we were going to be woken up in the middle of the night to evacuate. So definitely I was very nervous about that. But yeah, we basically gathered all our essential things, important documents, medications, and, things that our animals will need.
Yeah, and so what's it? You said you're still in Flin Flon.
Yes.
Is there smoke in the air? Like, what's the scene in the city right now?
Oh, it's just absolutely smoky out here. There's lineups getting out of town, gas stations. I believe there's one gas station open, and now it has run out of gas. And diesel, I believe, was the only thing available.
There's asphalt.
And asphalt as well.
And you're there. So it's you, your 10-year-old stepson, your fiance, and some pets. Is that who you're going to be taking in the vehicle?
Correct. We are taking 2 vehicles, and we have the pets in another. I have my dog in this one here. As you can see, she's pretty stressed out as well. But yeah.
And what's about an 8-hour drive? Is it to Winnipeg under normal conditions?
Yes. So seeing that there's a lot of traffic, it may be longer. So
yeah. Listen, you first of all, I really appreciate that you're taking the time to talk to us and that people across the country can kind of get a sense of what's going on. You seem relatively calm, but behind that demeanor, how are you feeling inside?
Oh, I'm having major anxiety. I'm not going to lie, but my spouse has been such a great partner and helped calm me down. So, you just need to be surrounded by some good people, to get through this. So. Yeah.
There's a question I often ask people who are in the middle of an evacuation order or fire zone, and because it's just interesting to hear the answer. We have people watching right now across the country. What message do you have for them?
You know what? Just, be safe out there. Like, you never know what's going to happen. You could think that nothing's going to happen in a town, especially this one here, with fires and such. But, just be prepared and show your support to everybody that's, going through this. We really appreciate it. We could use a lot of, positive energy right now. Yeah.
Well, I of course hope that the trip to Winnipeg is safe and not anxiety-inducing. I know CBC Radio is going to keep people in touch with the latest of what's going on, so you might want to stay tuned to it. And Elsaida, to you and your family, I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.